Welcome back to my second episode of PvP Locked Hardcore Iron Man. Before we get started, I'd first like to apologise for the audio quality in the last episode. I believe I fixed it now, however, all of the clips in this episode were recorded before I managed to get this done, so I've done my best to tidy them up in an audio editing software. Let me know if they're alright, and starting from the next episode, hopefully audio won't be a problem anymore. I was hoping to be able to start this video by telling you I'd managed to get to 80 fire making and obtained a fair number of crates, but unfortunately I've just been scouted by a level 18 who attacked me at Wintertodd and made me teleport out, so I'm not entirely certain that it's worth the effort of going back now. So now that I'm temporarily not in the Wintertodd, I think I'm going to get some quests out of the way to start getting up some stats that will allow me to get better loot from those crates that I've obtained. So I'll start off with the cook's assistant, and then we will finish up the cook's assistant. Easy. There's another cat successfully grown, so time to get a couple more death runes. More runes to the stack. Time to get another cat and rear it again. So I've just finished up the first stage of the Recipe for Disaster quest so that I can do the Goblin subquest for some initial farming levels. But I've forgotten to do the Goblin Diplomacy first, so I'll get that knocked out and then come back. That takes us one step closer to the quest cape, and we're now able to go and start the Goblin part of Recipe for Disaster. This is the beginning of the long and slow farming grind. Unfortunately, due to not being able to do Fairy Tale Part 1 without getting defense experience, I'm going to have to be actually training farming at a low level, which is going to be disgusting. This concludes yet another quest to get some more experience towards skills that improve loot from Wintertodd. Continuing with the theme of smashing out quests to continue getting up stats relevant to the Wintertodd, there is the fishing contest. More death runes coming in once again. I've splashed out some of that cash that we've obtained from Wintertodd on charter ships to get supplies for 500 molten glass, which will be a nice start to crafting. That slightly pitiful attempt on my life, that actually was the end of making all the molten glass, and I'm not entirely sold on whether I should be blowing it just yet or making more until I can create better things. I think I'll probably leave it there for now. Appears to be lurking just out of reach. There he is, waiting for me to go back out. See if he'll follow. Here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, and another one. They love staff bashing, these people. Well, there we go. To get the dig site done for some early mining experience, I'm going to have to first get to 10 herblore, and to do that I'm currently doing jungle potion, but I figured whilst I was down here I might as well restock on some more Karambwanji. This wraps up the jungle potion. Time to go and do dig site. And here's the completion of the dig site, which gives you plenty of mining experience and means that we can now start the Motherlode mine. After finishing up the dig site, I decided I might as well get the other part of the museum done to get some initial hunter levels out of the way, so as to obtain more experience when fixing the wheel. Now that I'm going to Motherlode Mine, I have also quickly knocked out the Knight's Sword to get a stupid amount of smithing XP. More death runes! So, I've just finished up 50 mining at the Motherlode Mine to improve the loot from Wintertodd crates, and I've highlighted here the skills which do affect the loot from Wintertodd crates. So for the easier ones, I think getting about level 50 should be reasonable. hoping to do that with fishing and crafting, and maybe if I can get up to 34 farming in that time, I'll smash out some tithe farm and get that up as well. With the aim of trying to complete Bon Voyage so that we can earn tree seeds from birdhouses to try and speed up the farming grind slightly, I've completed Shield of Rav and Haziel's Cult, and intend to go on to complete Observatory Quest, providing the experience reward isn't something irritating like Defense, as well as Merlin's Crystal. To be able to complete the Merlin's Crystal quest and the Observatory quest, both of which have boss fights with relatively high level mobs in, I'm going to be using an ult to kill those mobs. But just to clarify, I'm only going to be ulting to help with quest bosses. I'm never going to use it to scout out areas or anything like that.
Yeah, I've been running and running to keep it 100, it's all that I wanted, but lately I don't get the stomach. The higher the summit, the harder the plummet. They know me all over this planet. I'm just a man and I can't understand it. Proud that I win and I did it myself. Probably wouldn't if I got the help. Hearing subliminals all on myself. Feel like I'm breaking, I'm falling down.
That's Merlin's Crystal finished. Now for the scariest quests. Got to see whether I can complete Observatory or not. For this part of the quest, I believe that you can just kill the guard entirely on an ult, like so, and then just enter the door once he's dead, and avoid all combat on the actual account you're questing. Now for the scary part of the quest. We have to look through here, identify the star sign, and there's a 3 in 10 chance it will give combat experience and just ruin the account. And we have got Gemini, which is fine. We're saved for this time. So it was Gemini, and we don't get any combat experience. Perfect. One item required for the Bon Voyage quest is a Marantil, which I currently don't own any of. So I think I'm going to open 1 or 2 of these crates in the hope of getting it, and if not, I think I'll have to go to the Sorcerer's Garden. So, cross fingers. Yes, there we are. There's Bon Voyage completed. So we can now access birdhouses and begin to obtain some slightly better seeds. This wraps up the first birdhouse run, which currently is not giving much in the way of birds' nests, but gives very good experience. So I think that 14 now means that I can start making oak houses, and the low-level hunter should get done pretty fast so I can start actually getting good loot from this. Whilst I wait for my birdhouses to slowly fill up so that I can start getting up my farming, I'm also going to start working on fishing and hopefully get to around 50. And here is 50 fishing. So that should be plenty for opening up the crates. I'm still working on farming slowly, so for something to do whilst I wait, I suppose I'll go and cook all these fish now. Here's the end of all of those fish finished being cooked up. Farming is coming along nicely. 1 more run should get to 30, and then I can do the Enlightened Journey for a fair amount of experience from that. So 34 is looking slowly more in sight for the tithe farm. After that farming run, we've now got enough farming to be able to start the Enlightened Journey quest, so I'll gather up the items required for that and get that done now. I forgot that you also need 36 crafting to do the Enlightened Journey, so I've quickly smashed that out as well, and now we can actually start the quest. That wraps up the quest up until the point at which we have to plant the sapling, so I'm going to go and stick that in the ground at Lumbridge and wait a day for it to finish off growing. We're up to 12 cats handed in now for a healthy stack of death runes. When we get around to using Iban's Blast, that's going to be very helpful. This is the last level that I can get out of the glass I have banked, which is 53 crafting, so all I have left now to level is ideally farming and herb lore. As it turns out, 1 run of willow trees actually got me enough farming to be able to begin the tithe farm without even having to bother with doing the Enlightened Journey, so I'll still do that when I have time, but for now I can head straight to the tithe farm and smash out at least 50 farming. First run of the tithe farm completed for almost 10,000 experience. That is crazy. Time to get another one done. And here's 50 farming. That is at least 50 in every single Wintertodt skill bar Herblore, because there really isn't any practical way to train that skill. Whilst I was still here, I've also quickly finished up getting enough points to be able to buy the auto weeder and also a herb sack when I eventually get the herb level to use it, which will be very useful when I start training combat, as it'll allow me to take herbs during Slayer and also to have more free inventory spaces during farm runs. Now with farming out of the way, the main goal is going to be to try and get a couple more herblore levels to try and improve the herb drops we get out of those crates. And to do that, I think the best way is going to be to farm the herbs, and for that I'm going to have a source of herb seeds, and I think master farmers are probably going to be the best place to get that from. So I'm going to have to train up my thieving a bit and then head over to masters. The last farmer I've chosen to thieve from is the one in the farming guild, as it will allow me to also take contracts at the same time and gain even more seeds through that method. First contract was for dwellberries, and I've managed to obtain one after a couple of minutes. Wasn't too bad, so get that planted up and get the reward once it's grown. There's the dwellberry grown. First contract completed, hopefully for some decent seeds. No herb seeds unfortunately, but some limpworts is nice. That's 50 thieving, which is enough to enter the rogue's den, providing I also have 50 agility. So pickpocketing any further at this point is a bit of a waste of time until I've got the rogue's outfit for double loot. So I suppose it's time to go and train agility whilst I get the herb seeds planted that I've obtained so far. The worlds are looking particularly dangerous tonight. Scuffy lurking underneath a tall leprechaun. Whilst training up agility to 50, I noticed Hamgard's new account, which is a Dragon Fire Shield pure with 10 HP, capable of hitting 25s on accounts as low as level 6, walking around in Varrock. So I figured he might be there for me, and instead of going down the agility obstacle on the world I was in, I decided to hop, and then hop back in the archery shop to see if he was indeed waiting at the bottom. However, he was in fact waiting just outside the archery shop. Luckily, wasn't looking for me, he was waiting for somebody else, so wasn't ready to attack me, but that could have ended fairly poorly. Here is 80 fire making, which is as far as I'm going to go with this skill I think. I really cannot be bothered sticking at Wintertodt anymore, so I'll just finish up this one last solo and call it a day. Now that 80 fire making is finished up and all of the Wintertodt skills are fairly decent, I don't think I can be bothered getting any more herblore, especially now that I used up the Taramin and the Haralander seeds that I have obtained. I think it's finally time to open up all of these crates.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love.
Nothing particularly interesting from those crates unfortunately, but one pyromancer piece is nice. So, with the crates finally opened, we can wrap up the video. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.